G'day everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adelaide. I will start by apologising for not having any videos the last little while. The first video I missed, I actually thought I had forgotten to press record because I did my whole spiel and then there was no video of it. But it turns out that for some reason that I have no clue why, my phone just stopped working as a recording device. I've spent the last week just randomly messing about with settings, just random settings that I have no clue what I was doing. I'm not technologically minded, but something I did must have started something, because if you're watching this, it is recording again. Today I'm going to be doing the June to be read, and then on Friday I'll do my May wrap up. You will notice there will be quite a few books overlapping between my May to be read and my June to be read. That is because I haven't had a lot of time for reading in May, and I probably won't have a lot of time for the first couple of weeks of June, but then I'm going to be on break and I'm going to have plenty of time for reading. So the first book that I started in May, which I am continuing in June, is 12 Moons by Mary Oliver. It's a book of poems, mainly poems about nature and about humans' relationship with nature. I haven't read any Mary Oliver previous to this, but I'm really enjoying this book, so I probably will read some more of her work once I've done. I'll speak a little bit more about that in my June wrap up, because I do anticipate being finished this by the end of the month. The next book that I'm going to be reading in June, which I started in May, is Grimm Tales for Young and Old by Philip Pullman. This is Philip Pullman's take on the classic fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. Philip Pullman wrote his Dark Materials. I haven't read that, but it's quite popular, and if this is an example of his writing, then I can understand why, because I'm really enjoying the fairy tales in this. Again, I don't think I'll finish this by the end of June. I will try, but I will speak about this in either my June or July wrap up, depending on when I finish it. The next book that I am still reading in June, I actually started this one in April, but I'm still going slowly but surely, is A Timeline of Australian Food from Mutton to Masterchef by Jan O'Connell. This is, as the cover says, it is a timeline of Australian food-based history. However, it is not just about food. Food is a big part of it, but it is being used as an excuse for passing along other history as well. And I'm really enjoying this, which I anticipate finishing by the end of June, so I will speak about this one in my June wrap up as well. The next one that I'm going to be reading in June, which I had intended to read in May but never got a chance to start, and that is A Haunting Place by Glen. This is a non-fiction book. It is just about, as you can probably gather from the title, it's about hauntings. So if you don't believe in ghosts, then you could look at it as a book of fairy stories. If you do believe in ghosts and spirits, then you can look at it as an account of true hauntings. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. The next book that I intended to read in May but didn't get a chance to start, so I'll be reading this one in June, is Nick Cardy, The Artist at War. Nick Cardy is a comic book artist. He worked for a little bit for Marvel, I think. No, DC Comics. He worked for a little bit for DC Comics, but before that he went to war, and like many artists, he took his sketchbooks along, and this book features his story as well as a lot of his original art pieces from World War II. The next book that I'm going to be reading in June, which I had intended to read in May, is Whisper Down the Lane by Mcleod Chapman. This one is part of the Literally Dead book club. I'm obviously not going to finish it in time for the live discussion, because this is the May read for the Literally Dead book club, but it sounds really interesting. So even though I missed out I mean, I'll probably still log in for the discussion, maybe if I have time, but even though I won't be part of the discussion of the actual book, I still intend to read it, so I'm going to be reading it this month. From what I can gather, it is set in the satanic panic of the 80s, but it doesn't revolve around the satanic part of things. From what I've heard in Books and Lala talking about it, it sounds like it's more about relationships, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this one as well. And the final book that's going on my to be read list for June of 2023 is the June read for the Literally Dead Book Club, and that is The Devotion of Suspect X, which is a Japanese crime thriller by Keigo Higashino, and it's a Detective Galileo novel, so there's like 4 or 5 of them from what I can gather. And if I enjoy this one, I certainly intend to look up the rest of them, but it sounds quite interesting. It's set in Tokyo. I didn't get a lot about the actual storyline, so I'm not entirely certain completely what it's about, but I do know it's a Japanese mystery thriller, which to me is right up there because I love crime thrillers. They're one of the main fiction type stories that I read, so I'm very much looking forward to reading that, and hopefully this one I'll have read in time to be able to participate properly in the online discussion for the Literally Dead Book Club. So that is all for the June to be read for this month. I will see you guys all on Friday to talk about my May reads, which is going to be a very short video because I think I only finished one of them. As you saw, I've started quite a lot and I've continued one, but only one of the books that I planned to read for May I finished reading in May, but I enjoyed it, so I'll speak about that one on Friday. Yeah, so that's all I've got to say today, and again I apologize for the gap in videos. Hopefully it will not happen again. If it does, I'll record on my iPad, but I really don't like to do that because it's a major hassle managing to get it from my Apple iPad onto my Windows computer so that I can do the editing, which is where I do all my editing. So I will see you guys all on Friday, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.